Thank you very much for the invitation. As an academician and external observer of the sector, I would like to have a microeconomic review of NPLs from 2010 to date. I would say that the performance of the Greek banking system during this period remind us of the Greek Sirtaki dance. They start slow tempo and they end up dynamically. If we see the NPLs curve, there is no important change during the first years. There are three factors that resulted in that. Organization, supervisory framework, and the pandemic. Regarding the first part, NPLs are not core banking, as we call it. They are not in the core of banking work, so it was expected. When we had the crisis of 2010, the banks did not have substantially the organization to deal with this increase of NPLs, and that concerns not only procedures, but also the staff. From 2016 on, we had a solution by appointing servicers. Servicers had the knowledge to manage these portfolios. The institutional frameworks, there are two deficits first. The first was lack of out-of-court settlement, which was mentioned earlier. And I would say that combining with overprotective for the borrower loan regime led to the accumulation of NPLs. If we take into consideration the justice delays, we can understand why we had so much increase in NPLs. Quite recently, a lot of steps have been taken forward within the legal framework, the insolvency law, and the EBA guidelines. Nevertheless, these interventions need time to become fruitful, and probably they will deal with future problems mainly than already existing ones. Given this lack of institutional framework, it's not a surprise that in Greece we don't have a secondary market for loans, and especially for NPLs. The solution was given by the Hercules program, which was rather successful, I dare say. But we need to remember that Hercules program is not a direct sale of loans, but is a program of securitization. This means that partly banks are burdened, and the state, which guarantees. An unexpected factor, last but not least, that I would dare say assisted a lot was the pandemic, even though it might sound strange. In a recent survey, IMF concludes that RRF programs or regional support programs increased liquidity of businesses in Greece and their loan-taking ability. That means that a smaller number of businesses had NPLs. That, I believe, is a framework of how things evolved from the beginning of crisis to date.